The rise of the women in wrestling is insane. We went from making them bark like dogs to main eventing WrestleMania. 2 decades ago, the women's division was a joke, but now it's stacked with the main events, 5-star classics, and real storytelling. But let's be real, none of this happens without the Four Horsewomen. While the main roster was stuck in the Divas era, NXT was cooking. Paige and Emma laid the groundwork, but once the Four Horsewomen showed up, it was game over. Charlotte became NXT Women's Champion, Sasha became the boss, and Becky went from river dancing to the men, but Bayley, she was the ultimate underdog, who Sasha had zero problem making children cry every chance she got when beating the brakes off of her. The best types of stories are the best friends turning into pure hatred for each other. That was Bayley and Sasha. Every single time they were in the ring with each other, they put Sheamus to shame with bangers after bangers after bangers after bangers. My top 2 women's matches of all time, Sasha and Bayley at NXT Brooklyn. Bro, that match had me geeked, had me getting booty naked, running through my whole room. It didn't just steal the show, it made everyone respect women's wrestling for the first time. They even had the first ever Iron Woman match at NXT TakeOver Respect. The Four Horsewomen made a culture shift that rippled all the way to the main roster. The old hag had no choice but to call up Charlotte, Sasha, and Becky. While Bayley held it down in NXT, the others put respect on the main roster's women's division. Charlotte dethroned Nikki Bella at Night of Champions, kicking off a legendary rivalry with Sasha. That led to the first ever women's Hell in a Cell match. Bayley eventually joined and won the title at WrestleMania 33. Then a few years later, women finally main evented WrestleMania. Yeah, it was Dookie Mania, but still, it was huge for women's wrestling. Without the Four Horsewomen, we don't get Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Toni Storm, or Mariah May. And my favorite women's match ever, Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte at WrestleMania 39. That was a true rise of mommy, cementing herself in the legacy of women's wrestling. And at the end of the day, women's wrestling is thriving, and we owe that to the Four Horsewomen.